I'm Clifford Jones. I'm pastor of the Greater Peace Baptist Church as well as president, uh, president of the Greater Peace Community Development Corporation, a 501c3. And I'm located here at the church. Both programs are run out of the Greater Peace Church. The primary focus of a community development corporation is what it really indicates in its title, and that is providing opportunity in communities to help develop the community. And that can take a lot of different avenues in order to do that. It can be from education initiatives to healthcare initiatives to housing initiatives. But whatever it is done to help make the community better and impacting the lives of people in community. You can do community development without being a 501c3. But however, if you're going to benefit from the programs that are offered through foundations, government programs, you got to have a 501c3. Once you have been identified by IRS for a 501c3, then you begin the process of seeking opportunity for development and having activities going on in the community. In order to get there, you have to fill out the paperwork through the IRS, submit that, which includes a board, and provide an opportunity for leadership within that organization to begin to do the kinds of activities that builds a 501c3 to the point of having the programs available to impact communities. So you really have to go through the 501c3. There is a short form that IRS has done now that they call it the easy 501c3, does not take as much time, you don't have to go through all the paperwork, but it is limited to the amount that you're supposed to be able to earn within a year. If you're going to earn less than $50,000, you can go through that program. If not, you got to go the long way and fill out all of the forms in order to get the benefits for greater opportunities to increase your finances. One of the things as we began to develop the nonprofit work here, first thing we did, we wanted to do a survey of the community, and we actually hired a student from the Auburn University to come in and canvass the community, because we did not want to come in and tell them what we were going to do for them. We wanted them to tell us what they felt they need. They actually came up with many topics that they wanted, but we decided to take the top 3 based on the survey and the information that they had provided. And the top 3 that we started to work on, they wanted more activities for youth in the community. They wanted more quality child care, and they wanted more affordable housing. And so those were the 3 areas that we identified. We began working on those areas. The first one was our Youth Leadership Academy for youth. We run that twice a year, in the fall as well as in the spring. That program has been going on since the inception of our work in community. And it is still going on now. We just completed our 28th session of the Youth Leadership Academy. We bring students in from all of the high school, 9th to 12th graders, to give them leadership skills, talk to them about things that are facing them in life. And but once we had done the survey and got those top 3 items, then we invited the community in to sit down and talk to them about what we were going to, how we were going to operate as a nonprofit in the community. They bought into that. They received it. They were waiting for something like this to happen. And so we had a great reception from the community overall. And so I think the first thing, rather than going in any group, instead of going in and saying what we were going to do, we need to hear from the community to see what they want. You want to have a board that is going to be reflective of the community. A lot of time, boards are formed to have people exactly like you are, and those are the people you want to. But I felt that it was necessary to have a cross section of people on my board. Certainly, we have some out of the church, but we went into the community, and we have bankers, we have a lawyer. You want to be able to find people to serve on your board who may be able to help in some of the issues or some of the work that needs to be done. So we found an attorney. Whenever we'd have to do legal work, they do it. They may charge us a small, but not as they are not on the board. I have a lawyer on the board, the same, attorney, but I have an accountant on the board also. Provide that same kind of work. And so I have educators, I have law enforcement on my board. I mean, just a broad range of people. If they're willing to serve and understand the role that the board has, then I'm willing to let them serve on the board. We have a 15-man person board, and made up of men and women, educators, counselors, former school teachers, because our program cut across so many different areas that each one brings something unique to the board that would be able to impact those programs. So don't try to find a board that is just like you, but challenge yourself and bring people in and have people to be willing to question you as to what you are doing, because it makes the board stronger. One of the things you got to be aware of is that you have to have a source of resources, funding coming in, and that's one of the hardest things for a nonprofit. When we started our nonprofit, especially our Youth Leadership Academy, we didn't have any resources, but yet I wanted to start a program that did not cost a lot of money to do. And so we could run the program here. We could have the school system to identify students and make the announcement for them to come to this program at free of charge. But one of the things I wanted to do was to provide a meal for the students when they came in, because we start at 6 o'clock. Our academy runs from 6 until 7:30. We provide a meal the first half an hour for them to eat, and then the last hour they are in program. So I began to look at the business community and the foundation and manufacturers in the community, and I went to them, talked to them about what we were seeking to do, and asked for funding to help provide a meal for them, as well as providing a banquet at the end of the 8-week session. We do 7 weeks, and then in the 8th week is a graduation. They bought into it, and they began to give contributions for that. And that first year, we ended up getting over $10,000 from just going out asking. That was one way that we were able to get going and begin to bring some resources in. If we didn't use all the $10,000, it at least began to help build a pool of money for us to be able to do that. So that was one way. We also found out that many of the legislatures have discretionary funds, and I began to tap into those and talk about the program. Once you sell your program, they began to understand the fact that they are willing to give back some of those funding to a good nonprofit program. But then the other thing we found out, you had to have a consistent stream of monies coming in. One of the things, and we began to look for a good fundraiser that we felt that we could have each year that raised a significant amount of monies that would help carry us through the year, along with the other funds that we had coming in. And so, about 6, 7 years ago, for example, we started with what we call a Taste of Lee County Community Roast, comedy roast, community comedy roast. And we've done that for 7 years. Last year we roasted Jay Jacobs, the former athletic director here, and we raised about $55,000 as a roastie. We've done the two mayors of Auburn and Opelika, Tommy A.G., who was a football player at Auburn and played with many of the, I think he started out with Seattle and played at Dallas also. And so each year we identify someone to come in to roast. Bruce Pearl has agreed for that we can roast him next year. This year we're going to roast Dolly Marshall, who owns all of the McDonald's in Lee and Macon County. So our goal each year is to raise anywhere from $35,000 to $50,000 to help carry us through the year and help build the program. So that has been a good resource. So anyone who is trying to start, you have to be creative, go outside of the box and look for opportunities. We've done a lot of different things. We've had golf tournaments. That is, it can be good in one year. The next year may fall flat. We've done several other things, but this community roast seemed to have been the niche that we needed to tap into. I think the CDC can impact the community in many ways. Um, as I mentioned before, when we started, we did a survey to find out what was needed in the community, and once we identified that, we began to move forward to provide the support and the initiatives that were needed in order to begin to change the nature of the community. Um, so as I said before, we started out with the Youth Leadership Academy. The second thing that we impacted the community in was the child care. There was no, except for individual home, maybe 2 or 3 kids, but no sort of a commercial child care facility in this part of the community of the town. So we built the child care facility that will house up to 102 children, and we were licensed through DHR. We still are licensed through DHR, and we provide, actually we're licensed to do night as well as daycare. So that was the other piece that we did to impact the community. But the third area was the fact of housing that they had identified as a need. And with that, we began to look at opportunities that we could begin to move in. We found out there was a landlord who was selling some of his rental houses in the community. Didn't have any money, but we were able to go and convince the bank to give us a line of credit of $100,000 in order to buy up some of they were really dilapidated home. We ended up buying 5 homes, duplexes, and one single 3-bedroom home. We were able to buy those and really remodel them and put people in to have a quality way of life, put central heating and air in all of them. And we was able to get CDBG funds from the city and get some other funds through HUD in order to do that. And so we were able to put kids and put people, families in those homes to stay. We had to maintain for at least 5 years. But after the 5 years, we could convert them into other properties. And so we have, since that time, have taken down all of those homes except one. We're in the process now of getting ready to build single-family houses on those projects, so individuals can come in and purchase those at a moderate price to become a homeowner. But then we also had an opportunity to build a housing development. We built a housing project, which we call it Jordan's Gate. 48 houses, 3 to 4 bedrooms, just less than a quarter of a mile from here, that we have put people in for them to live through tax credit for 15 years. After the 15 years, then we will convert those into home ownership. They will purchase those homes. So we feel that based upon the survey that was done, we have met all of the community needs, but since that time, we've gone into so many other areas, because you find out that as you begin to go into those areas, they will come with other ideas, and we have sought to provide those opportunities. They mentioned they needed more activities. When we built the Life Center, I had not planned to put a gym in, but because of the things that said the youth needed more activity, and we decided to go ahead and add a gymnasium to our building here, and it has been outstanding. It has a tremendous impact in the community with the youth, but not only that, but it is used a lot when organizations needing a place to host. We've hosted a Boys and Girls Club. We've hosted, as I mentioned, our community roles, anniversaries, weddings. So it almost used on a weekly basis. So all of those kinds of things have impacted the community, and being a nonprofit, we've been able to benefit from resources and opportunity to help us to be able to do those things.